let's shift gears a little bit. Ellensburg City Council recently approved painting the words Black Lives Matter in a permanent display of support for reform on Fifth Avenue south of City Hall in Ellensburg. Do you think the Board of County Commissioners should approve a permanent display of support for the ongoing demonstrations and social change? Why or why not?
Are we referring to approving and supporting the council's decision, or are we referring to wanting a separate one? Because that's kind of a twofold question there. Could you clarify, please?
It would be a separate display.
It would be separate. That's not something that I would weigh in on. I want to hear from people. Right now, ultimately, that's the problem that I'm seeing and reading about on every level. I've seen it on both sides of the aisle, is that the conservative side is saying, we don't support this, we don't want this, and then the liberal side saying a councilman reached out and said that nobody had addressed the council in emails in support of it. It was all negative. You're going to always have unhappy groups. And again, it goes back to making sure that you're listening to the people and you know what they're wanting. I would rather see inclusivity. I would rather know that what we're doing brings the community together rather than see us divide and continue to have more strife and struggle when that's not unity, that's not who we are as people in Kittitas County. And so I would give it back to the people, and I would want to know what they wanted, how they wanted to see, because I don't want to see any party left out. I don't want to see any social group left out on putting in a permanent monument. My husband's Native American, and that's one of the questions that comes up to me, is that we don't talk about the red lives. We don't talk about in our communities the missing women and children in those communities because they're a closed off knit group. So by singling out one group that has had struggles that we need to acknowledge, I don't know if that's the answer to the question. I really don't believe it is. But I think we need to be able to listen and be able to come together as a community and find out the best way to meet our needs for the social injustice that we've seen around the country and still support the men and women in blue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Martins?
I agree with Jessica. We see a reaction consistently, and that's been the case for the last 15 to 20 years, where the loudest group seems to get the most attention. I resist reacting. I think we need to be planning. We should be looking at what is evident in our community and try to have plans in place that address issues that might be coming up. We got mental health, we got substance abuse, we've got across the boards, we've got all of these issues that we've got to start looking at and taking seriously. I recently talked to our coroner, and he turned around and indicated that our biggest problem right now in the county is substance abuse, and making certain that they're dealing with more of that than anything else. So where there are very vocal groups out there that are looking for attention, we've got serious problems we've got to start addressing. And while I want to be sensitive to those groups, we also have to pay attention to what is our pressing problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martins. And just so that you know, something has changed with your microphone, and it's now more difficult to hear you. If there's a way for you to remedy that for the next question.
I will do that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner O'Shaughnessy, same question, please.
Thank you. So, being somebody that's collaborative by nature, it is extremely important to me that as a commissioner, I build relationships and listen to everyone across Kittitas County. And one of the things that I have been working on, because we all have areas we need to improve, is to continue to grow my network, to expand to additional groups. And I've been wanting to learn more about, I've done research on my own for BLM, or Black Lives Matter, but I want to continue to engage with those groups as well as other groups across Kittitas County. because there is some unrest on many levels, and we need to continue to work together collaboratively and build bridges. The last thing I want to do is to take any action that would further push our communities apart. So I think this is something that we need to address, the being inclusive to all groups within our county. I think that's something that I have a history of doing well, but it's always something that I can improve on, and that's something that I look to continue to do into the future. Thank you.